It's the weekend and you have financial questions that need answering. That can only mean one thing. It's time for Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
Welcome, welcome. It's the Jill on Money Show. We are here to try to help take the mystery out of your financial life, one listener at a time. If you've got a financial question, all you need to do is go to our website, jillonmoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and complete the form. If you'd like to join us live, then there's a little box at the end of that form that says, I want to come on the show. And executive producer extraordinaire Mark Talercia will do everything else. To get started, we are going to talk to John. He's on the line from Illinois. Hello, John. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me on.
Pleasure. What can we do for you?
My youngest son graduates from high school in about 2 years, at which time I would like to move out of my current state to a warmer, lower tax state.
Oh, I like that you say warmer. That was the number one thing.
Yes.
Do you move to a warmer, lower tax state? Now, do you have a state in mind or any warm, lower tax state?
We're going to start looking in Tennessee, but it's not written in stone at all.
So the kid's a sophomore, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
And is this your only child?
I have one who is launched on his own.
Oh, okay. And you said a we, so who's the partner in this?
I do have a partner. She does not contribute to the household income right now.
Okay. What about you? Do you have a kind of job that you could take to a warmer, lower tax state like Tennessee?
That is my big concern. I do have a good career, but it's not so portable. So if I am going to do this, then I need to be prepared to make a complete reset.
Okay. So, John, how much do you earn right now?
I make about $275 a year.
That's great. And how old are you guys?
53.
And how about your wife?
Partner also 53.
Okay. Are you married or I said wife? I didn't mean to marry you if you weren't. You're not married.
Nope.
Okay. So let's talk about the 275. 275, you making a contribution to a retirement plan on that money?
Yes, I'm maxing out a 401k.
A traditional, right?
Traditional.
Okay. How much money is in the 401k?
About $720,000.
Great. Fantastic. Is your partner, does she have any, or should we not even include her numbers in this? Do you keep life separate? Like, what do you do with this?
We do keep life separate. I am not planning on her being able to contribute.
Okay.
If she does, it's a bonus.
Okay, great. And so let's talk about other assets you might have. Do you have other retirement accounts that were old retirement accounts or a Roth or something else that's a retirement only, I'm asking?
I do. I have a traditional IRA with about $155,000 in it. I've got a Roth IRA with about $22,000 in it.
How about non-retirement accounts? What about a brokerage account? Any sort of plain old brokerage account?
Yes, we got brokerage accounts of about 1.1 million total.
Whoa, there's the money. Holy smokes, that's great. Is the money in the brokerage account for sophomores college education, or is there a 529 plan for that kid?
There is a 529 with about 200,000 in it.
Oh, killing it. That's good.
Right.
What about plain old boring cash, emergency reserve, money market, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, all in for checking account, emergency fund, it's about 175,000.
Say that again. 375, I heard you say?
175.
Darn, I liked mine better.
I do too.
Okay, sorry. And what about a home? You guys own a home together, or is it in your name only?
It's in my name only.
How much is it worth?
It's worth about $500,000.
Mortgage outstanding?
Got about a $385,000 mortgage, 30-year at 2.875.
Oh, that's going to kill you.
Right.
That's going to just kill you. Okay. What about any other real estate, rental property, any funky thing floating around out there?
Nope, nothing else.
What about do you have life insurance on your life?
I do. I've got $1 million term, which ends in about 3 years.
Okay.
And I've also got a whole life policy that I've had for over 30 years, $350,000 death benefit, and about $100,000 cash value.
I might need that cash. Okay. what is it's so weird to do the spending now because we don't know really how this is going to go down. But let's just say if you had to look at your monthly nut all in, what do you think you're spending right now?
I'm around $8,500 a month.
In your mind, if you don't have a portable job, is there something in your head that you're thinking about doing where you know you could make a certain amount of money? Maybe not 275, but where you could hustle and make some money. Do you have a number in mind?
Well, what I would like to do, but I don't know if I can make money at it, but obviously is financial planning. I just find it very interesting.
Oh, that's great. Are you in financial services at all right now or not?
I'm not. No.
Okay. So we got 2 more years. And in the current 2-year time horizon, do you feel like there is beyond the money you're putting into your retirement account, is there extra money? I mean, you built up all this money in the brokerage account. Are you saving a whole bunch of money every month right now?
Yes and no. I mean, all in, not including the retirement accounts, I'm putting in about $3,200 a month away. That's
great.
Yeah.
All right. But you didn't include that $3,200 a month in the monthly nut. That's in addition to the monthly nut, right?
Right.
Okay,
right.
Good. All right. So what happens in 2 years? We sell the house, right? How much is it going to cost you? I know you're just sort of looking now, but what do you think is the cost of buying something you'd want to live in a warmer, lower tax state?
I'm going to guess somewhere in the $600,000 or $700,000 range.
Well, how am I going up? What are you talking about? I got to pay more to be in a warmer, lower tax state?
Getting a property and then building a place. We'd like to do something new.
Why do you can't? There's no existing home stock. All right, all right. So 600,000. I'm putting you in. And would you think about financing it? Do you want to pay? Get a couple hundred down. You'll have money out of the house, right? So let's say it's 150. Let's say you have 100,000 in equity because it'll cost you money to sell it. Would you be thinking about using some money from the brokerage account to putting some money down? Would you put 200 down? What are you thinking?
Yeah, that's one of my questions about how to go about getting that. But I'd probably do something, buy property in the next year or so, and then build the house over the next couple few years. So I think I'd have to take some money out of the brokerage to at least buy the property.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Any idea what the raw land might cost you?
I think around 100, 200 from what I'm seeing.
Okay. So you would say of the brokerage account, what I need to think about is there's really only 900 there because you'd take 200 grand out, right? And then you'd get some sort of construction loan that can turn and hopefully rates go down in that time. And then you sell your house and then so all of this is kind of like the rolling game plan, right?
Right.
Okay. Are we sure you cannot do your job remotely?
No, it's not 100% sure, but I just want to be prepared if they don't let me do it remotely.
Okay. So, all right. What would happen if I said to you, well, I don't really want you to do it at age 55. I need you to do it at 57. Would it be a bummer for you or could you do that?
I think I could do it.
Okay. I just want to think, I'm just giving myself options here. Look, this is a pretty risky proposition. You know that, right?
Yes.
Okay. We'll get back to John in just a minute. If you've got a financial question, just go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and we'll do the rest. We'll be right back.
.401ks, IRAs, refinancing, she covers it all. Back to Jill on Money with Jill Schlesinger.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, the show that is trying to help you make better financial decisions. And maybe it's just a matter of the course of what we do, that we get into some of your bigger life questions as we go on the journey with you. And if you feel like that's what you're looking for, some guidance about making a big change, check out my new book. It's called The Great Money Reset. We have links to it right on the website, right at JillOnMoney.com. This book will give you a framework for how you can make good decisions without blowing up the rest of your life. Let's get back to John. So I don't want to like dash your dreams. I want to be clear that if you wanted to do financial planning, have you done any of the certified financial planner coursework?
Not yet. No.
Mark, what's the deal with that coursework? How does this work? Like you got to do, how long would it take him to like actually get the coursework under his belt and then sit for the exam? What's the time horizon usually?
I mean, it depends because they offer accelerated options, but he's got a full-time job, so I'm not sure that's available. So I would say longest case, you're probably, it's like a 2-year process.
So 2 years, how do you feel about starting the CFP coursework to just like begin? Is that what you're thinking? I assumed you wanted to do CFP, but maybe you just want to like go talk to people. I mean, how committed are you to this?
I think it would be better to be a CFP.
Yeah, definitely.
I think you're far more credible.
Yeah. Do you think you could start doing some of that coursework over the next couple of years?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
So you have to go to cfp.net. And Mark, you did it did you do it self-study or you went to a class, didn't you?
Yeah, I did the in-person classroom option just because I know how I work, but there are online options available. And I think there's a total of 7 courses that you have to take.
Okay. So you'd have to take the coursework. And then here's the good and the bad of the CFP. It's a great credential. But just because you sit for the exam and you pass the exam, you really start at the bottom of the rung when you go to a financial planning firm. So let's just pretend you're going to Tennessee. You're like, hey, I've finished my coursework. I'm sitting for the exam. I'm going to get a job. Like an entry level job, honestly, is like 50 grand. Then you would be, working in a firm, building up your income, seeing, and maybe you don't even want to I don't know if it would be interesting because there's kind of 2 pathways when you think about being a financial planner. One is like, I want to be in the back office, crunching the numbers, doing the plans. I'm not sure I want facing the client interactions. Some people love the client stuff. They go out. Are you in sales by any chance?
No, I'm not.
Because it's like, it's a super salesy business. Not for everyone, but I mean, the pathway to make the most money as a CFP requires you to have expertise and to be a good salesperson. And not everybody has to do that. But if you're kind of doing it as like your second biz and your second career, you can have a really nice career and make some money and be fulfilled, I think. The question really is, it sort of depends how much you are willing to suck it up and make kind of crap money for, however long you do, and whether that's fulfilling or not to you. So you could be like from 55 to say 67. What's your full retirement age? 67. Do you have a Social Security benefit estimate for me?
$3,652.
So, I mean, could you make over those 12 years 50 to 100 grand a year? I feel comfortable with that. So now what we need to figure out is how we're going. So, you've got $8,500 a month, which maybe it's going to be more than $8,500 because you're going to have this bigger home and the cost, maybe it's going to be like 10 grand a month. Like, it's weird. You'll pay lower taxes, but you're going to have a bigger nut on your house. Right.
Right. I thought maybe they would even out.
Maybe
taxes.
I don't know. I guess I'm going to go with you. I'm going to be positive and be like, yeah, it's 8,500, but I'm a little worried because who knows where mortgage rates are going to be, right? So if it's 100 grand a year or 8,500 a month, so then we know that, essentially you could create income, almost half of that, right? Because at 50 you get taxed, whatever. And then we have to spend another 50 grand a year from your brokerage account, right? I would guess you're going to end up spending down half of your brokerage account. How do you feel about that?
Over what period of time, I guess, would be the question, right?
I would say
for a while.
I would say that over those 12 years, let's say 55 to 60. No, I would say that if we took 50 grand a year out for 10 or 12 years, that's what I think you're going to have to do from that brokerage account. So maybe you spend down more than that. It's weird because we don't know what the house part is going to be yet. And a lot of this will like blow up in your face if you spend too much on the house. Because if all of a sudden, like I'm presuming you take 200 grand out of the brokerage account, then there's 900 left. And so it'll grow a little bit, but it's not going to grow a lot because we have to pull money out. Essentially, what I'm suggesting to you is that if you take out 50 grand a year for 12 years, you're going to spend at least half of that down, maybe 2/3 of it down.
Unless some way he's able to keep his current job and work remotely.
Well, that's the fantastic scenario. But then he's not doing a reset. I mean, here's okay, you know what I would like? How did this sound? If you could keep your job, or if you stay in cold Illinois, I mean, what it would be great is that for the time that you're building the property, you keep this very high paying job. And then we really have a better chance of you financing more of this. Instead of saving $3,200 a month and just popping it, into the brokerage account, you probably are going to need to use that cash flow to be building the property, right? And using that money. So I would sort of time-wise or chunks of time, I think I would say, okay, again, you're going to search, you're going to find the best property, whatever. You're going to buy the property. You're going to say, okay, I'm going to take $200,000 out of my brokerage account. I'm going to buy this property. While I start the process of building a home, I stay in my job. Because you're not moving anywhere. You don't have a house. You stay where you are. You take all the money that you're saving, and it's sort of, think of it as that's like your fund for the house. And maybe you'll be able to put a little bit more money down when you're ready to actually start construction. And by the time it's 55, 56, that's when you are really trying to determine, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to move. And then if you could work remotely, that would be great. But if you really want to go after the CFP, that's when you start to really say, well, what kind of job could I get? And all of this is predicated on your ability to commit to doing this. I mean, if you hate it, you might be like, ugh, it sounded like a great idea. And Jill and Mark sound like fun to hang out with, but this sucks and I'm not doing it. That's also important information. I don't know. It's kind of tricky because of the house part. That's what's tricky about it. I don't want to crush your dreams. I think it's possible. I just think you have to be incredibly careful about the cost of the home.
Okay.
And
that makes sense.
And for the whole life policy, it would be worth talking to a insurance agent or wherever that, I'm sure someone sold that to you a long time ago. So call the company and say to them, if I blew out of this whole life policy, would there be a tax event? Ask that question. So you don't need to cash it out now. You would cash it out when your tax bracket goes down. I think it can work. I just really think that the house building process can get away from you. And I just want you guys to be very, very clear that if you're going to do this, you have to be careful on that side of it. That's about the only thing you can really control.
Sounds like the people who were moving from Buffalo to Hawaii. Don't go crazy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I worry about this because, again, we are all human beings. We've all done these home renovation projects and you're like, oh, that costs so much more than I thought. And if you just think about how many decisions have to be made with a new home, and at every turn you're faced with this well, I really like those knobs better. And then you opt for it, right? And then all of a sudden your $600,000 house is an $800,000 house. And you could really screw yourself by blowing through that brokerage account and own the home. I get it. But then you're left at age 58 with a lot less money and not the choice. You would not have the option to then go and take a career change. You really just wouldn't be able to do that. We've got more financial questions from all of you coming up right around the corner. This is Jill on Money. We'll be right back.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. We are trying to help you make the best financial decision that lies ahead of you. Right now, let's talk to Jim and Linda, who are from Buffalo, New York, listening to us on the radio at WBEN Radio in Buffalo, one of my favorite stations in the nation. Hello, Jim and Linda. How are you?
Hey, Jill.
Hello, great.
Fantastic. What brings you to us?
Well, my wife and I are contemplating retirement. And initially, we figured when we were about to retire, we would sell our home here and purchase some property out of state, or preferably a small farm out of state. During COVID, we had an opportunity to spend some time figuring out where we want to move, and we finally did buy some vacant land.
Where is the vacant land?
Well, it's actually in Hawaii.
Stop it. No way.
Yep.
Oh my. I mean, that feels dreamy, but of course I'm also thinking about, it sounds also sort of expensive, because Hawaii, I've always heard Hawaii is quite expensive. So tell us a little bit about how you came to stumble upon vacant land in Hawaii.
One of the reasons for our move, we just wanted warmer climate. We visited Hawaii several times in the past, and we kind of joked at the time, the first time we went, that, this is where we're going to retire, and met up with a realtor that actually grew up in Syracuse, and, he kind of pointed us in the right direction, and we found this property, and we just went for it.
How much did it cost?
$450.
Just for the vacant lot?
Yeah, it's 13 acres, so, it's substantial.
Are there pineapple treries on these 13 acres? That's all I care about. No, okay.
There's cows.
Cows? Wow.
Cows are a godsend there.
Wow.
Just for tax purposes, it's incredibly cheap at the moment.
Okay. So why don't you tell us about yourselves? And I presume the genesis of your call is to sort of say, how do we get from Buffalo to Hawaii, and in more ways than one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So tell us about yourselves. Jim, how old are you?
I'm 63.
Okay. Linda, how old are you?
64.
Are you both working?
Yes, I'm working full-time. Linda's working part-time.
Okay. How much do you earn, Jim?
$115.
And Linda, how about your part-time?
37.
Will either of you be entitled to a pension?
I will be from a previous employer.
How much will that be, Jim?
If I would take it now, it would be about $1,500 a month, and it would increase like 8% a year if I delay taking it.
That's great. Fantastic. Okay. And what about your Social Security benefits? So if I look at your full retirement age for each of you, do you know what those benefits are?
Yep. Mine will be $34.50, and Linda's will be $26.20.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Now, how much is the house in Buffalo worth?
We're figuring $600.
Do you have a mortgage that's left on it?
Yeah, we refinanced in part to purchase this Hawaii property, and we have $285 mortgage, 3.125%, 30-year.
Okay. Is it fair to assume that when you do this, when you actually make this decision, you will sell your house, or do you want to try to keep the house and also do the Hawaii thing?
No, we need the proceeds from the sale for down payment on the home that we're going to build.
Okay. And the $450 that you paid for the vacant land, you did that with cash?
Yes.
Okay, got it. All right. So you had some cash on hand, you refied the house, you own the lot outright. How much will it cost you to build the house that you would like, or the structure that you would like on this Hawaii land?
Yeah, as of today, we're going to say about $700,000.
Holy smokes. I can't wait to come visit. Okay.
It's really quite modest.
So you say, okay? I get it.
Yes, believe me, it is.
All right. So you have $300,000 of equity in your current home. What are we going to do for the other $400,000? Do you have money saved for this?
Not much. We were planning on taking out a construction loan that would turn into a conventional mortgage once we move in. Okay.
Tell us about other money that you have saved up. What have you guys done in terms of your own retirement savings outside of the pension?
I have a 401k and a small IRA. The total is about $950,000.
Okay, that's great. And Linda?
She has a 403b account with about $235 in it.
That's great. And what about non-retirement? Did you kind of drain a lot of that because of the land purchase?
Yeah, we did. We're doing okay. We have about $50,000 in our emergency fund, $45,000 in after-tax mutual fund, and a $22,000 brokerage account.
So when do you really see this transformation happening? What's your ideal?
Ideally, we'd start building early next year.
If you were building, okay, wait a second. So let's say you're building next year, right?
Yes.
And let's then say that you are still working in Buffalo, right? You're staying there, you're building, you're working, right? And you're going to finance some of this out of cash flow, I presume. So right now, are you putting money into retirement as we speak?
I've just recently reduced it to 6% of my salary, just because that's the company match.
Yep.
Figuring we're going to need cash for this.
You betcha. And Linda, same thing. Do you have, did you just pull back and go to the match for yourself?
Yes.
Or do you, okay, got it. Okay.
She's not contributing.
Oh, I'm worried about this. So what kind of terms can you get for a construction loan? Tell me what you've heard.
The latest we heard was 6.5%.
And then what happens with that? You have to put in so much. Like how does this construction loan work? You pledge the land because you own the land outright, right? Is that the collateral?
Yeah, I believe so. It's kind of fuzzy, all the details on this. They want certainty, with income, of course.
Yeah. Well, you're not quitting until you get this thing like up and running and really on its way.
The ideal plan is we would be working here while we start building. Mm-hmm. 3 or 4 months into the build, we would move there.
But then where are you going to live?
There's a nearby place we're kind of hoping to rent.
How much is the rent?
$1,500.
We'll get back to Jim and Linda in just a minute. You're listening to Jill on Money.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. Let's get back to Jim and Linda. How much does it cost you to live right now in Buffalo? Like just your whole, like your life, the house, the mortgage, blah, blah, all that.
Yeah, like $8,500 a month, probably.
I'm like a little anxious right now about this. So the reason I'm anxious is that obviously I do not want you guys to tap your retirement funds to do this. Do you agree with that? Or were you planning to pull money out of your retirement accounts?
No, that's not the plan A, at least. So.
Okay. What would happen if somebody walked over to you today and said, that $450,000 vacant lot, I'll give you $650 for it. Would you take that right now?
No.
Okay. That was a teaser question.
No.
I wanted to see how committed you were to this.
No.
Me, I'd be like, yeah, sold. Okay. I think this is an ambitious plan. I mean, obviously having the pension and Social Security for both of you is a good chunk of money, right? So, it's like $6,000, $7,000, like almost $8,000 right there a month in income. But that's in between, I got to wait till your full retirement age. So I'm a little concerned that plan A might be faster than I would imagine this could go. So what would happen if, for example, if you were still like, if you didn't work, I feel like you guys are going to have to work until you're 65. Because where are you getting your health insurance? Do you have health insurance?
Until Linda turns 65, we're good with health insurance after that. I'm certainly willing to work full-time, part-time. We're committed to this move. So whatever it takes.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Yeah, sure.
Mark, how are you feeling about this?
I was just going to ask Jim, can he stick with his current job and work remotely? Is that an option?
That's what I'm hoping for. I need to nail that down. That would be the ideal plan.
Well, I was also reading ahead, Jill. I see that Linda gets $20,000 a year from an annuity for the next few years.
Oh, where did that come from?
Well, back when she was temporarily retired before COVID,
yep,
it was just kind of spending money for her.
So, all right, well, that helps for sure. My guess is, I don't know when your birthday is. My guess is that You are both going to be working until each of your ages 65. I am since you are hell bent and committed to doing this, I'm not getting in your way. What I do think is that you may want to hold off on starting this project and see if we kind of and you were thinking about starting this next year?
Yes.
I mean, you might get a little bit of wind at your back because I do think construction lending is going to get slightly better. I just think interest rates are not going up much more from here. So every little bit's going to help you. So what I think you really should be careful about is understanding the terms of construction loans, understanding what this means at each stage of the process. And I think you're absolutely right. You've got to beef up your emergency reserve fund. So maybe while you guys are still both working, that 20 grand a year, just pop that into the house fund for right now. You know, like if it's this year and next year, even if it's like a couple of years, that's going to help you. I really think that the longer you work, the better it's going to be. And if you're willing to work, especially until you reach your full retirement ages, you're going to end up with a little bit more equity in a house than I would want as I got older. But who am I to squash your dream? Mark calls me the dream crusher. Do you guys have kids, by the way?
No kids.
Ah, that's why you can really do this. This is great. Are you nervous about it? Like, what part of this makes you nervous?
I mean, other than the financial part, nothing, I guess. Yeah.
Really? You're like leaving it like, we lived our whole lives in Buffalo. Who cares? Like just new adventure. You feeling good?
Which island?
Big Island.
And what are you going to do with all this land? It feels like it's going to be a lot of work.
The plan is to have a few horses on it.
A few?
We currently have 2.
You have 2 horses already?
Yeah.
Oh my God. This is amazing. Okay.
Now you got to get them to Hawaii?
Yeah, that's complicated too. They fly.
They do? Oh my God. All right. Well, listen, I want you to be careful in this process. I think you know that. I presume that you guys have like your estate documents done and let me ask you one last question, by the way. Your pension, Jim?
Yes.
When do you have to pull the trigger on that? Like, how does it work? Because I'm wondering if for some reason you have a choice on having a survivor benefit, I would like Linda to be able to have a survivor benefit if something were to happen to you. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, there's tons of options with different survivors. The one that I quoted you was like a 65%.
Okay.
Which they seem to push a little bit or recommend.
All right. Well, just don't go crazy. I don't know. If you tell me it's 700,000 and all of a sudden it becomes $1 million, then you're going to be working a little bit longer, but you're going to be working from the Big Island and paradise. So it isn't that bad. It's better to work from Hawaii than from Buffalo, I think.
Absolutely. So one last question, like if I only have a part-time job, would it be okay to pull some supplemental money out of my retirement account?
Yes, but. And here's the but. You have, $1.2 million between the two of you. It hasn't been taxed yet. It's not like you cannot pull out tons and tons of money. When you mean supplemental, what I would be thinking about is like 20 grand a year. That's about it. Not more than that, because we need that money to generate money for you guys, because obviously, you'll have a pension, you'll have Social Security, but everything's going to be more expensive, right? We have to account for inflation. So you're going to need that money, and you're going to need money from those funds, like 20, maybe 30 grand is like what I would take out, but not much more than that because, you pay the tax that's due, and that's that. All right, aloha. Good luck. You're listening to Jill on Money. We'll be right back. You're back. It's Jill on Money. Before we close up this hour, let's answer an email. This is from Ron, who says, I need guidance with estate planning, please. I've accumulated a substantial amount of assets, well beyond $1 million. I'm 67, I'm single, healthy, never married, no kids. My older brothers live 1,000 miles away. I have a lot of acquaintances where I live, However, I don't have any close friends nearby. What do you suggest? I need someone to act on my behalf if I were to become incapacitated and to handle my estate when I die. I'm not comfortable with my situation. I've got to get my estate in proper order. It will take a great deal of weight off my mind when I do. Well, first of all, Ron, do you have an attorney? Because that will be the first part of the process, working with an attorney who can walk you through this. Then I would actually think about this. I think that there is certainly a case to be made that you could have somebody be a co-executor, co-trustee who you feel close to, even if that person doesn't live directly nearby, and maybe have someone geographically nearby who can be the co-trustee, co-signer on documents. I mean, I think the big issue is that if your close family is 1,000 miles away, that might seem terrible, but if there were a person close to you on the ground who could work with a relative or someone you're close with, maybe that would do the trick. In terms of managing the estate, that can be anybody, and it may even be an institution. So I would work with the estate attorney. I'd go through the situation that you've just laid out here and let them guide you. But this is clearly something that you have to just put one foot in front of the other and get started. I hope that helps. If you have an estate planning question, if you've got anything else like that, the big picture issue on your mind, don't hesitate to get in touch with us. The website is Jill on Money, JillOnMoney.com, and there you can also subscribe to our brand new service. It's called Jill on Money Live. You'll be able to participate in quarterly webinars, and also you will be able to hang out with us when we interview lots of other cool people. It's the bonus content. Jill on Money. We'll be right back.
It's the weekend, and that can only mean one thing. You're listening to Jill on Money, the show that takes the mystery out of your finances. Here's your host, Jill Schlesinger.
Welcome back. It's hour number 2 of the Jill on Money Show. We are here to try to help you make smarter or more reasonable financial decisions. And many times this means that we get involved with some of the bigger issues in your life, your real life. You know, I have a friend who said that the show shouldn't be called Jill on Money. It should be called Jill on Life. He kind of has a point, because often when we're talking to you on the air or I'm reading an email, we are actually discussing larger life choices that you and your family may want to make. And sometimes you're simply asking permission or a way to think through what choices you have that really can help you get where you want to go. If you feel like you could use some guidance, just go to our website, JillOnMoney.com, and click the Contact Us button. When you do that, a form pops up, and if you're shy, you complete the form, and that's that, and we'll read it on the air. If you are a little bit nervy, then just say you'll come on the air live with us, and it will be a rich and rewarding experience. Let's see if we can do that for Angela. She's on the line from Texas. Hello, Angela. How are you?
I am great. Thank you. How are you?
You're doing really well. What can we do for you today, Angela?
I think I've got my plan in place, but I'm getting close to thinking about that retirement age, and retirement meaning like I just want to go from full-time to part-time.
Oh, okay. That's not like retirement. Let's call that a ramp, an off-ramp. You want to get on the off-ramp to retirement.
Yes.
All right. So first of all, Angela, how old are you?
I'm 54.
And are you married, partnered?
Yeah, married. Husband is 51.
Okay. How much do you earn right now, Angela?
I'm at 135.
Okay. And what about your husband?
He's around like 150, 160.
And when we're talking about the off-ramp, does he want to get on the off-ramp, or does he just want to keep working?
He is an off-ramp too. So he's planning to retire at 55 with full retirement package. and then do something else.
Wait a minute. Tell me about full retirement package for him. So he's got 4 more years. And then what happens then at age 55? Does he get a pension?
He does. He'll get a pension and medical benefits. Yes.
Wow. Okay. What will the pension amount be?
It's a calculation, and he tried to figure it out. I'm guessing today it's worth around $500,000. I don't know if it's a monthly thing later on. We're looking at a lump sum right now.
Okay. I'd be interested in hearing what the actual monthly pension amount is. It's actually a helpful number for you guys. It could be. Is this a state pension or a private pension?
No, private.
Okay. The 2 questions about the pension. Number 1 is, what would the monthly pension amount be? And number 2, does it have a cost of living adjustment or an inflation rider on it? Those are your 2 very important questions. So let's start with that. Okay. Now, at his 55, okay, would you work another 4 years, or do you want to do this sooner? When does your off-ramp begin, madam?
So I'm thinking I want to work till I'm 58. I think 4 to 6 more years in the corporate world working full time. My daughter's 18 and she's just starting college this fall. So I feel like I need to work through her college years, but then the off ramp would be after that.
Okay. Are you both making retirement plan contributions?
Yes.
What are you doing? Are you using a 401k?
Correct. Right now, I think I contributed like $20,000 last year for me, and then this year it will be close to 28.
How much money's in there, Angela?
So my current 401k is like 120, but I've got an older one that has 760 in it.
Ooh, that's nice. What about your husband's retirement account? Besides that pension, is there something else that he's saved?
Yes, he's got about 600 in his 401k as current employment.
Okay, and anything in old stuff?
No, not for him.
Okay, what about maybe a non-retirement brokerage account? Anything going on?
So we have some miscellaneous ones, probably about a little over 210 in after-tax brokerage accounts. There's like 4 or 5. And then I have another brokerage account, which is mine. And it's my dabble fund and what I would hope to use a little bit for paying for college if my daughter's 529 doesn't cover, but it's also my hobby fund. So I'm trying to ask the questions if I can reserve that brokerage account for my hobby and my daughter's hobby and not have to worry about that and then still retire on time.
Okay. Well, how much is in there?
156.
156. Okay. And how much is in the 529 account?
50.
In state or out of state is she?
In state.
So what do you think it's going to be cost wise? In state, what do you think it's going to be? 15, 20 grand a year?
Yeah, I'm thinking 20, 25 a year. So I'm thinking 100 should be fine.
So the hobby account, would you like to share the hobby with us?
It is, it's our happy place. My daughter and I started ballroom dancing 5 years ago, and we just love it. So, but it's expensive. And so, like, it's the debate, do I do it while I can and enjoy it now, or do I save this money for the future? So I'm kind of caught between
let's wait a second. Let's see if we can make this work. Right now, do you own a home?
Correct. Yes.
And how much would you say it's worth?
It goes up and down. Probably a good $425,000.
Is there a mortgage that's outstanding on it?
Yes, about $98,000 at 3.125.
Oh, that's cheap. Okay. And is it a 30-year or a 15-year?
15.
When is the 15-year term up?
I think in another 8 years.
Okay. All right. That's good to know. Okay. And you're not making extra payments, are you?
Actually, yes.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Okay.
Don't do that. Stop doing that. And I'll tell you, we need your cash flow because I need to beef up that brokerage account for you so that you can do this fun, exciting ballroom dancing in 4 years. So I need 4 years. If it's going to just be paid off in 8 years, don't accelerate it because I want to make sure you've got some slush in that brokerage account, in the hobby account. Okay. I want to get that account up to 200. That's what I'm hoping to do. So right now, how much are you paying extra on the house?
Oh, like $300 a month. It's the mortgage is like $1,200. I mean, it's not that much.
Okay. And then are you saving money beyond your retirement account right now?
Yeah, a little here and there. Most of it goes into our retirement.
Mm-hmm.
We have some emergency savings of about probably $50,000 across multiple accounts.
Okay, that's good. And do you have any life insurance that's still kicking around?
I think I have one more year on my term life insurance. It was to get Jenna through, my daughter through 18, and she's now 18.
Okay, great. And only one kid, right?
Correct.
We'll get back to Angela in just a minute. If you've got a financial question, just go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and we'll do the rest. We'll be right back.
.401ks, IRAs, refinancing, she covers it all. Back to Jill on Money with Jill Schlesinger.
You're back. It's Jill on Money, and we are here trying to help you make better financial decisions. And we do that by talking to you on the radio, but also we've got a few other things that you might want to check out. Now, everything I mentioned, it's going to be on our website, JillOnMoney.com. So we have two other audio programs. There are two different podcasts. One is called Jill on Money, and the other one is called Money Watch. We have links to both of those right at the front door of JillOnMoney.com, and you can subscribe to listen to us whenever you want. We also have a blog, and that's where I write about some current events. Sometimes I use things in the calendar that jar my brain and try to go deeper into a topic that is probably better for the written word more than for having a conversation with you guys. We also have clips of my appearances on CBS News and a resources section. While you're on the website, you should definitely also check out our free weekly newsletter. Mark puts that together every single Friday, and it's so easy, and you might have missed some interesting financial stories throughout the week while you're doing your thing. Now, if you have a few bucks to spend, we've got Jill on Money Live. That's where you have access to quarterly live webinars and more bonus content like interviews. We're going to post an interview with a guy who's the auto editor at Consumer Reports. So cool. And if you'd like to join us, $35 for a whole year right there. And we have links to the book, The Great Money Reset. This is a book that was really inspired by my conversations with all of you over the last many years. I guess it's 12 or 14 years, so you should check it out. It's basically a guide to help you make smarter, big decisions in your life, but doing so understanding that you don't want to blow up your finances along the way. So check it out. It's The Great Money Reset. All right, right now, let's go back to Angela, who's on the line from Texas. So just so I understand it, let's just kind of go back in time. So in 4 years, your husband would actually do something. He'll
Yes.
get either this lump sum of $500,000 or some monthly pension amount, and he'll do some, let's call it part-time work. And you also would do some part-time work?
Yes.
What do you think you could make together? And I want you to be conservative. Because obviously if you're going to do this, you don't want to be working like as much and just making half as much. So what do you think you could make and still have fun?
That's a really good question. I don't know. I need to think about it.
I want you to think about that. You got 4 years, so don't worry. Do you have an idea how much you spend right now?
Yes. On the conservative side, probably 70 a year.
Even if we said, I'm going to just forget about 4 to 6 years. Let's say 4 years, right? 4 more years for both of you. That means that we have this, this kind of a gap between age, let's call it 58. Let's say it's a 10 year. So it's 58 to 68. It's really 58 to 67. Do you happen to know what your Social Security benefits look like at your full retirement age?
Full is 3480 for me, and I think my husband's is pretty close to the same. I don't have an updated number, but it was pretty close last time I checked.
All right. So, I mean, if you think about it, it's about $7,000 a month, which is kind of great. That's a good number. And you'll have plenty of money. So between now and full retirement age, what we need to do is we need to put some money into that hobby account. What is it that you think you really like when you say it's an expensive hobby? When you said the $70,000 a year, did that include the hobby fund? Like, I don't know what happens, like costumes, travel, like how much more money would it be if we include the hobbies?
That's another 15 grand a year with lessons and competitions.
Are you sure? Because I want to like run these numbers, and if it's like really more like 20 grand, just tell me. We'll see.
I mean, go ahead and say 20. Yeah.
I know. I'm sorry. So really, it's instead of $70,000 a year, it's $90,000 a year. That's what we're really trying to make sure that you have, right? And that's $7,500 a month. So I think that this is actually possible. I am inclined to have you do a couple of things. First, I really want to find out what this pension is. And I also, one other thing, Angela, I would like you to find out if you have an ability to choose a joint and survivor benefit. So that would mean that he would get a benefit, and if he died, you would get the benefit. So if we could figure out, let's say it's $3,500 a month. Then all we need to do is come up with this $4,000 a month. I feel like we could easily do that because you have money that would be coming in, some kind of part-time income. Let's say that between the two of you, you probably could make 50 grand, but let's say it's work. Let's say it's not. Let's say it's I don't know, half that. So then we have to say, can we actually pull $2,000 a month or 25 grand a year or so from your retirement assets, your brokerage assets, and could you live with the reduced balances 12 years, 10 years later at age 67? I think the answer is yes. I think you can totally do this. I think between now and then, I'd love more information about the pension, number one. You're going to stop paying down the mortgage because we want that cash flow. We want that extra $300 a month. That goes into the hobby account, right? We want that to be built up. And then what I'm also considering is, Mark, do you think that Angela should be putting away as much money pre-tax into her retirement account?
No.
I knew you were going to say that. Do you have a Roth
I had a
option?
feeling.
Do you have a Roth option, Angela, or not?
I do. Right now, I have 13% in my regular and then 8% in the Roth. And that I'm struggling with what numbers to do with that.
What if you just, instead of putting $28,000 into the pre-tax, what if you went back and just did for this year, $22,500 is the maximum that you can put into a retirement. You could put more in because you're over 50, but let's go back to $22,500 and put it all in the Roth.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah. And then the other money, just let it be taxed. It's okay. Don't freak out. It's all right. You're not, you're in a very tax advantageous state, right? Texas has low taxes. Although you guys are in a high tax bracket, it feels like that. Your highest bracket is 24%. And you know what? You're going to have income. You're going to have 2 Social Securities. Maybe you're going to have a pension. I don't know. We haven't decided that. But like you could still remain easily in the 22% tax bracket and maybe even 24%. So I don't want you to get forced to push out all this money in pre-tax money. And you already have a lot of money. You already have more than $1 million. More than that. So you have 1.3, you almost have $1.5 million that is already in pre-retirement money. And so I would just do put your $22,500 into a Roth 401k. Same thing with your husband. Don't have him max out. Just tell him to put in 22.5. Does he have a Roth option or not?
Yes, he does.
Mark, can we do Roth on both of them?
I would. I find very little reason anymore to do anything pre-tax or, the only reason I would use a retirement account nowadays is if it has a Roth option.
All right, so let's do it. Let's do the Roth. And then why don't you find out some more pension details? But okay, great news, Angela. You're going ballroom dancing in 4 years. And you guys can do this. And the more money that you can earn in part-time income, then the less money you have to pull out from these accounts. So, really what I would be hopeful for is that the pension plus whatever part-time income you have will cover your needs. If you have to pull some money out of accounts, you can afford it. You have the money to do it, okay? But you got to get me that pension info, and then we'll be happy to follow up with you, okay?
Okay, sounds great. Thank you so much.
Right. Wait, one last question, Angela. You got your estate documents done?
We do.
All right. Then you're off the hook. Then we can go. If you've got a financial question, if you want to go full-time to part-time, if you want to figure out how to keep doing an expensive hobby, whatever it is, whatever is on your wish list, get in touch with us. Just go to JillOnMoney.com and click the Contact Us button. Check the box that says you want to come on the air live. We'll be right back.
Do I invest here? Should I put my money there? Jill Schlesinger can help you. Back to Jill on Money.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. We are answering financial questions, and sometimes we don't bring you on the air live. Maybe you're a little shy. Sometimes we answer emails, and that's fine. But if you are going to send us an email, please try to put in lots of information. That way I don't have to do one of those, oh, can you follow up and send us more information? Because I know that's kind of a drag to listen to that. And it's kind of a drag for you if you've gotten up the gumption to actually send an email to now have to follow up and do it again. So lots of information, pretty please. Right now, let's take an email from Paulette, who said, I would like your advice concerning the newer generation of long-term care policies. And these are hybrid products. They combine life insurance with care benefits for someone who reaches the age of 75. Would you happen to know what the costs are for these types of policies? Also, are medical or physical exams needed to qualify? Paulette says, I'm in good health. I do have some pre-existing health issues, not catastrophic issues. I have Medicare Advantage for health insurance and would have to rely on my investments to pay for my medical needs that my health insurance would not cover. Any suggestions you would have to inform me about this? Okay, so Paulette, I do know a little bit about these policies. Mark, we should get an expert on these policies because I think we need like a bit of a long-term care expert to help with this. The old long-term care policies where you would just pay for care itself, it's just really become hard to get them. They're expensive. They raise rates. These hybrid policies can be useful because, first of all, you don't spend all those premium dollars and get nothing back if you don't happen to have a long-term care illness. But also, they're a little bit more flexible in what they can be used for. I believe because these are life insurance policies, and same with long-term care, that there is a medical/physical that is required. It doesn't mean you won't get it. It just means depending on what your condition is, you might have to pay more. That's usually how it goes. But the bigger question, Paulette, is regardless of these policies in terms of like what they can afford you, is do you need this kind of a policy? Why do I ask that? It seems to me you didn't say a we. It sounds like a you, just you. The real issue is, could you self-finance the needs that you might have? And that's a question that we would need to talk with you about and talk through what your options might be. Because if you have a lot of money, maybe you self-insure. If you don't have a lot of money, maybe you don't even need it. Maybe you would say, well, you'd spend your money down, you'd qualify for assistance, and that would be the end of that. Not everybody needs these policies. I understand that they can also provide some peace of mind as you do get older that you're not going to plow through your money. Okay? Oh, this is about a life insurance policy as well. So this is from Will. Dear Aunt Jill and Uncle Mark. You're an uncle now, Mark. Several years ago, some criminal... Oh, brother. I'm going to read this. This is exactly. Some criminal sold my 82-year-old mom an insurance policy that expires if she passes away after the age of 97. She only recently learned of this clause. Her intention was to pay $20,000 into the policy annually until her death. The policy is held in a trust owned by me and my 4 siblings, all self-sufficient adults in our 40s. Mom plans to stop contributing to cut her losses and get the cash value of the policy. Oh, my God. There's a cash policy. There's cash value of $250,000. Oof. Okay, this would be a loss of about $100,000. Oh, God. She would split the money 5 ways between the kids. The question, would my siblings and I need to pay taxes on the payout? Would it be beneficial to keep it within the trust but invested in some other instrument? Is there something else we aren't thinking of? Thank you, Will. Okay, so this is interesting. I tried to keep it short, a few additional details. The payout upon death, $1.5 million, but that would require her to keep contributing $20,000 a year, which is just stupid. Mom has a net worth of $3.5 million outside of this policy, low expenses, she lives comfortably. I've asked my brother, who's an administrator of the trust, to investigate if the policy can be exchanged for another one that would not require additional contributions and doesn't have an expiration. I'm not sure that's even worth it. PPS, love the book. I'm currently mid-reset. All right, here's the thing, Will. I think we need to talk to the insurance company. There's 2 questions that we want to ask. Number 1, what would this policy buy her in death benefit if it were a paid up benefit? In other words, if we took the $250,000, okay, and we said we want to use that money and have a paid up policy that if mom happened to died tomorrow, what would the actual benefit amount be, the death benefit? That's called a paid up policy. That's a very natural term in the life insurance world. The other idea here is to say to the insurance company, again, while you have on the phone, if we cash out the policy, is there a tax event? I don't think there is, because I think that she has put more money into the policy than the cash value would be. In that case, there is no tax event. I think the last thing is that if the policy is owned by the trust, if you blow out of the policy, the funds have to stay in the trust. That's number 1. If it's an irrevocable trust, meaning it's non-changeable trust, you cannot have the money go outside of that trust. It has to stay in the trust. If it's a revocable trust, meaning changeable, then the proceeds can be put inside that trust and then distributed. But most insurance contracts are owned by an irrevocable life insurance trust, in which case the money can't go outside of that trust. It has to stay in, and you could invest it however you want. So we need some information from the insurance company. Again, what would this policy look like if we use the cash value in it and had a paid up policy? We're never putting another dime in. How much is the death benefit? That's number 1. Number 2, is there a tax event if we pull the plug on the policy? You have to ask the insurance company. They're the ones that do the tax reporting. Number 3, confirm whether or not the trust is irrevocable or revocable, and that will actually determine whether or not you have to keep the money within the trust, invested in any other instrument. If you've got a financial question, all you need to do is go to the website, JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and we'll get your note. Jill on Money. Yes, we'll be right back.
Back to Jill on Money, where Jill Schlesinger helps you take the mystery out of your finances.
You're back. It's Jill on Money. Let's get to an email. This one is from Elijah. I'm 22 years old. I work 2 jobs. I'm going to college. I'm living on my own in Colorado Springs. I've done everything I can think of. My question is, as a young adult, what do I do to, 1, make it a little easier on myself, 2, prepare myself for the future? You're doing such a great job. So first of all, I presume the reason why you're working 2 jobs is to go to college. And a couple of things that I always like to remind people who are, it's not even an age-based thing, Elijah. It is literally about like anyone who's starting out. And you can start a new financial life at 22, 44, 66, or 88. Like there are 3 very important principles. Number 1, you are doing something that is fantastic and you are hopefully living within your means. So that's the big picture. But your number 1 goal should be to make sure that you accumulate 6 to 12 months of your living expenses in some sort of savings high yield account, something where you can access your money. Number 2, you endeavor to pay down all of your consumer credit. So that would be credit cards and auto loans. You try to pay that down. And number 3, if you could, even though you're only 22, you're working 2 jobs, do either of those jobs happen to offer a retirement benefit? If so, maybe you could just contribute up to a point where you'd get a match. If you have no retirement through work, then what you could do is you could actually create your own retirement account by opening a Roth IRA and making a contribution. And again, I don't know your numbers, but that would be sort of the general principles. Once you have those 3 things in place, you're going to be able to help prepare yourself for the future. This is from Lynn, who is 47 years old. I'm single, no kids. I work in healthcare. I earn $215,000, live on the West Coast. I've got 2 homes. The primary mortgage, the primary house is worth $315,000, has a $245,000 30-year fixed rate mortgage, 2.875%. The rental property, oh my God, $800,000 with a $120,000 rental property balance on that mortgage, 15 years, 8 years to go. I wish that were flipped. I wish we had 30 years on that one. Okay, $384,000 in a pre-tax retirement. Rollover Roth, $30,000, 2 non-retirement brokerage accounts, almost $500,000. I'm maxing out my workplace retirement plan. I was using a Roth 403B. I changed it to a regular. I've got an employer match. So here are the questions. I was late to the Roth until I kept hearing Mark advocating for it. So I started a few years ago. But I switched to a regular 403B because I had to pay $7,000 in taxes. So I thought that could help with my 2023 tax. Should I not have? The employer 403B plan is at Principal, and the only good fund I see so far is the S&P 500. Mark, should she have not switched to pay her tax bill?
I would say that was a mistake. Maybe change your withholdings at work. Maybe you're not having enough withheld, but she's young. She has a lot of money already. I would start doing the Roth now.
And she has a lot of money, pre-tax retirement balance right now that's like, kind of feels like almost like fine and manageable, but it could get so compounded over the next 20 years if she keeps putting money away in pre-tax. So she's investing $4,000 into her investment accounts. And she wants to know, should I do $4,000 once a month, spread it out? Doesn't matter. Whatever works for your cash flow. I think $4,000 a month or $1,000 a week is amazing. Can you imagine that, Mark? Boom, $1,000 a week. It's a very good savings rate. She says, I count my non-retirement account as part of my overall retirement. Am I on track for retiring at a normal age of 65? Could I retire a little early at 60? Yeah, of course. You're like absolutely killing it. Should I max out 403B and contribute only up to the match? And I think you're going to have to listen. This is what I would do. In terms of investing, I think I would use the 403B. You can put all the money in you can just basically go crazy and say, put it all in the S&P 500 for all I care, and use the other investment account to maybe invest in other asset classes, right? That way you're actually using the best of your employer 403B and you're using everything else for your other investing. One thing I would actually really think would be helpful for you in terms of managing your tax liability is inside of your non-retirement brokerage account at Vanguard. What about using a California municipal bond fund? Maybe you can use that as a fixed income product for yourself, manage the actual tax liability. You can do that right at Vanguard. So I think that would be worth it. Oh, this is funny. Can I buy a new car? Mark, can she buy a new car?
Yeah, she can afford to buy a new car. She also asked if she should keep or sell the rental.
I know, this is interesting. I was saving that for the last thing. Okay, so here's the question about the rental that I have for you. Right now, you have an $800,000 property with only a $120,000 mortgage, and there's only 8 years to go on that mortgage. That you have a ton of equity in that home, and if the only thing that home is doing is paying your mortgage with somewhat positive cash flow, you didn't say by how much. I need to know whether that rental property is working for you. If you have a financial question, if you have a life question, if you're switching careers, if you're buying a house, get in touch with us. Go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button. You're back. It's Jill on Money, and we are here to finish up the program with a question from one of our listeners. This is Heidi, who writes, I'm retiring in June, and I have to choose a retirement option. My husband is an accountant, and we are savers. Why do you need us? I feel like Heidi's got it all set. Anyway, she writes, it seems that I should take the full pension and invest possibly in an interest-earning life insurance policy. There is a pop-up option that would leave money to my spouse if I were to pass away first. I'm in great health. Your thoughts? Okay, I think this is what we used to call pension maximization. And it goes something like this. You want to take the highest pension benefit for yourself because if you were to choose a survivor benefit, it reduces the amount and maybe by so much that it doesn't make a ton of sense. So instead of taking a joint and survivor benefit, you take the full amount for you and then you purchase a life insurance policy on your life, hoping that you never need it because you'll get the pension and you'll outlive your spouse. So this is really a question about how much it costs to actually purchase that life insurance. And without the answer to that, I can't help you. So Heidi, this is one of those cases where we need the actual numbers. And it would be important for us to understand what is the premium that is necessary to buy insurance for you. And it would have to be permanent life insurance. You're not going to buy term, not at this age. So let's get those numbers and let's drill down, and maybe we'll get you and your husband to come on the line with us so that we can talk it through. I hope that helps. Okay, that's the show. We are so delighted that you listen to us every week. We are so grateful for that. Remember that much of our content lives on that website, JillOnMoney.com. You can buy the book there, The Great Money Reset. You can also subscribe to our brand new service. It's called Jill on Money Live, quarterly live webinars and special bonus content. Kind of cool. All right. Our music is composed by Joel Goodman. Karen Kranick is our web queen. Mark Talercio is our executive producer. Lift someone up. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next week.